everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me Anarghya, and today's video is gonna be about Better Than the Movies by Lynn, and I have a lot of mixed feelings and a lot of stuff I gotta say about this book, so let's get started. And before we do, please make sure to subscribe because you don't want to miss out any updates. So let's get started. So basically there's a lot of good sides and the bad sides to the book according to me. So let me first give you like a storyline of what the book is about. So basically we have over here, our main character Liz Buxzbahm, who is like a very not like other girls sort of character, only that she's a little too girly and a little too feminine and a little too like filmy and dramatic, like stuff like that. Basically, her mom is dead in the book when we talk about it, and she was a scriptwriter, so she obviously loved movies, and her mother was solely connected to movies. Like everything she did, she had a movie for that sort of thing. She used to watch rom-coms like every day, and therefore so did Liz, and they bonded a lot over that thing. And since she was a scriptwriter, she obviously loved all those characters that we talked about, and all those women wearing dresses that we wear and those hair flowing and stuff like that. You get the vibe. So yeah, basically her mom's dead in the beginning of the book, right when we started, and we see that basically Liz has not really healed from that thing. She hasn't really been given the closure of that whole her mother's death. So during this whole like event, we see that Liz basically does everything according to her mother. She like tries to play out her life as if her mom wrote it for her, and like she's a little too obsessed with the happy endings and the rom-com sort of feeling, and she wants everything to be like just picture perfect. Everywhere she's around, she dresses like it, and she's not like other girls. Like I said, it gave off that sort of vibe. I'm just not sure. You have to read it to find out. Like if you're reading it, I'm pretty sure you'll get what I'm talking about over here, but like I can't really pinpoint it right now if you haven't read the book. So yeah, she's in her senior year and she has prom coming up, and all these big events happening about college and everything, and she's missing her mom a little too much this year because she really wanted her mom to be there to see her achieve all those milestones and be there with her, because she was like really close to her mom. And now her dad has also remarried, and she throughout the whole book she doesn't really accept her stepmom, and she doesn't even call her stepmom, and she doesn't try to bond with her, although her stepmom is very nice, and she knows that fact, but she never tries to like get too attached with her because she thinks that she'll forget her mother if she does that. And we have this guy next door, Wes, who is like her enemy since childhood, and they like literally trick each other and stuff like that, prank each other, and they're always on each other's like nerves, and she really hates him to her core. And then comes the entry of the crush. We have Michael, who was basically with Hannah and Wes and their childhood friends in elementary school, and then he moved away to Texas, I guess. Yeah, I suppose. And then he basically comes back in senior year, and now Liz is basically head over heels for him. So basically what happens over here is he comes back, and now Liz is just her motto in life is to get him to take her to prom. And now, considering the fact that he is Wes's close friend, she has to ask for Wes's help in order to get the guy, and she does. Wes and Liz have some sort of fight over a parking spot going on, and then Liz says that if you help me out with this, so you can have the parking spot forever, I will never ever take it back from you. So he was very intrigued, and he said yes, sure, like, what is it? And then basically they have this whole thing going on, and if you didn't figure out already, this book has more than one romantic trope. We have fake dating, we have enemies to lover, we have a lot of stuff going on, and I obviously gave you a little spoiler over here, but if you read the book, you will know right from the start that Michael is not the guy for Liz. So we see a lot of stuff going on between Michael and Liz and Wes and everyone around them, and it's an amazing story to see how everything turns out, and how she realizes that who's the guy actually meant for her and who's not. And like if we were just considering all these parts, like this would have been a pretty amazing 5-star book, like an easy 5-star book. It was perfect. Like, I swear to God, like by the ending it did become perfect though. Like I really loved the story, how it turned out, and you really have to like read it to find out, because if I like try to explain everything over here, it's not that, it would just be an understatement to the whole thing that's happening. But like the whole thing was just so perfect. Like, now I don't want to give you all the spoilers, but right from the beginning you will obviously know that Michael is not the guy for her, and fate is trying to keep Michael away from her, and it's actually Wes who has always been there for her, and continues to do so, and all these heroic acts. It's just too cute to miss out on. So yeah, you should totally read the book for that. But now we talk about the downsides, like what I did not like about this book. Number one, Elizabeth Buxzbahm. How can you make a book about a character that is so unlikable? Like, I cannot stress this enough, especially in the first half, or at least the first 3/4 of the book. She is miserable, she is unlikable, she is, I don't know, she's just out of this world. Like, it's not at all easy or even possible to like Liz in the first half of the book. Like, she is just insane or something. Like, first of all, she has that whole I'm not like other girls kind of thing going on with her. Like, I don't know, no matter how you're trying to portray something, whether it's by being too boyish or too girlish, if it seems extra, if it seems like too unrealistic, it will give pick me, and it does over here. I don't know, I mean, it's not exactly pick me, but you get the vibe. It's just like
standing out of the crowd, like not belonging to the crowd, and just like being your, like, no one is like me, and really like that. I take pride in being all girly and feminine and stuff, and it's like a little too forced. Like, who doesn't own a normal pair of jeans? Like, I like just you have to read the book to like actually find out what I'm talking about over here. Like, the way it's carried out, it's just too off for some reason. Like, Liz is just a little too out of the box for anyone to like actually relate to.
But she's still relatable somehow, like not in these aspects but in other aspects for some reason. And the second thing about her is that due to her mother's death, like, I know, like, resolving trauma is important, but you should be doing that right now. Just because you're going through stuff doesn't mean anyone around you deserves to go through stuff because you're putting them through that. Like, because of her mom's death, like, she is constantly blocking out her stepmother, and until the very last pages of the book, she does not accept her even as a friend or something like that. Like, she constantly neglects her. We have so many scenes in the book when her stepmom's trying to get like close to her, and then they have a little bonding sort of session where she actually begins to like her stepmom, and then she's like, oh my god, I'm gonna forget my mother, so she blocks her out again. And then we have her best friend, like Liz's best friend in the book. Like, she constantly betrays her. Like, she does not tell her shit about what she's doing, where she's going, who she's with. Like, the whole West stuff, like, it was so complicated and so mixed up. Like, she claims to not want to bond with her stepmother, but she tells her stepmother before telling her best friend about whatever's going on, the whole thing. And even her being head over heels for Michael, still after all these years, she does not tell her best friend that. And yeah, she does give the reason that her best friend can be a little judgmental, and that's why she didn't really want to deal with all that, and she was putting it off. But she keeps putting it off to a level where it's just unacceptable. But the fact is, the whole thing is that she kept her best friend away from her, and like, just like, the whole book was really highlighted on the fact that she couldn't resolve her mother's death. But it wasn't very, it could have been, I don't know, like, put in a better way, like, I don't know, like, sort of like explained better somehow. Like, I don't know, like, it was really difficult. The main thing is, no matter how complex your character is, no matter how unlikable your character might seem to someone who is watching them as a third person, but for the reader who is getting to know them at a deeper level, the character should not be unlikable at this point. When you're reading something which is so, I don't know, when you're reading something that is just so, like, you are reading about that person, you're reading about that person's inner thoughts, and You know, like when you get to know a person completely, there's not a chance you can actually hate them. You know, we hate people because we don't know their real selves, we don't know their innermost wounds and whatever's happening to them. But whenever we read a book, we read a character, whenever a character is nicely written, there's a chance you cannot exactly hate the character. Yeah, there can be a few parts you don't like about them, but Liz was the most unlikable main character I have ever come across. I've read some, you know, very controversial characters, but when you're actually reading about them, it's like, you know, they have their reasons, they have their ways, and they have their goods and bads, and I've never actually hated any of them. But Liz, that's a whole different story. Second of all, you know, not second, third, the stuff that she puts Wes through, like the whole book was, you know, like the story was pretty nice, so you read it for the story, and second of all, you read it for Wes, because Wes is one of the best characters, like the best character in the whole book. You know, because the main limelight was on Liz and Wes only, so Wes was the main character. And you know, right from the beginning, it was really nice to see him, you know, to see him through Liz's lens, where, you know, she didn't like him at all, and he was like a mean guy, and he was just a sort of like low-key bully. And then, you know, we get to know him from other people's perspective, whom he is nice to apparently, and then we get to know him on a deeper level, and he's just great on all levels, like, let's be honest over here. So, you know, it's like, it's nice to read about him, and he was the reason why the book was so interesting in the first place. And I'm pretty sure, like, the story is good, and however, you know, the character needs to be interesting enough for you to continue on reading the whole book, and Wes is that character for you. Liz, you know, by the ending of the book, like, it's all pretty nicely wrapped up, you know, like Liz starts to get the closure, and she starts treating people around her like people in her life, you know, like her close ones, like her dad, her stepmom, her best friend, and people in general. But until that point, it's not easy liking Liz. It is so not easy liking her. You know, like the whole book it was like, it had a pretty nice potential to be the bestest rom-com ever if it wasn't for Liz Buxzbahm's character. Like, she should have been a little, at least like 10% more likable for the book to be perfect. You know, when I first finished it, I know whenever I finish a book, it's like my actual thoughts about the book like take a few days to form. Like, just, you know, that finishing a book, you have this sort of euphoric feeling, and then, you know, you're stuck in that book, and you mostly like the book. Like, you always end up finishing a book, and, you know, when you just finish it, you like it a lot, and then after a few days, you know, you come to your logical senses, and then you're like, okay, I like this part, but I didn't like this part, and you were just putting up with it because you wanted to like finish it. I don't know about others, but that's the case with me. So that's what personally happened over here. And yeah, when I finished the book, I was like, oh my god, this is my favorite book, this is the best rom-com ever. And for some parts, it was the best. Like, it had so much potential, and it was wasted on a character like Liz. I am so sorry if I am offending some of you here who are Liz fans, but it has to be put out there. Like, she was not a likable character at all, and she was really holding down the book's potential. But however, you know, you still enjoy reading it, not for the character but for the story. Like, that whole trope is so amazing, and I'm pretty sure like each of you will like it. So yeah, you should totally check it out. And I guess that's it from my side, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this book, let me know in the comments down below what parts did you like or what parts did you not like. If you agree or disagree with me, I would love to know. Just let me know down in the comments below. And until I see you next time, bye bye and take care.